And welcome in to the Skol Purple Podcast, episode number 12. I think I'm counting correctly. So, welcome in, gentlemen, and a big welcome to all of our co-hosts this evening. And at the bottom of my screen, I've got Dryce. To the left of me, right of me, whichever way, Chandler. And crisscross on the bottom is Chris. And gentlemen, it's good to be back. Good to see you guys. I don't even remember the last episode we had all four of us on here. It's been a hot second, or it's been a minute, as it says, as the saying goes. But it's good to have you all on. What do you know? What do you guys know?
Huh? Still celebrating the freaking Wolves. Big dub last night.
Yeah, Wolves getting it done. Biggest win in nearly 20 years. And you're rocking the Randall Cunningham jersey down there, Dryce.
Yes, sir.
So
I'm going to rip it off and jump on my
it.
desk and throw it at my bed and proud up.
Maybe Kirk Cousins needs to take a little bit of training with Randall Cunningham soon and see if he can
Pat Bev too.
Get some of that. Yeah, that's right.
You think Kirk Cousins has ever sworn in his life? What is the trash talk?
Frickin'.
Yeah, what is his trash talk compared to Patrick Beverly?
Let's frickin' go.
Kirk just reads stories to his kids all day, man. He would never use a profane word.
You're right. He's a father of two. He's got responsibility.
Pat might let a darn slip out.
Yeah. I think that's probably pretty accurate. That's probably the only thing that he would say. Maybe. Oh, what else? Well, you like that he doesn't say anything profanity in there, but well, we'd really like it if the Vikings could, not be 500 this year or right at 500 this year. That's the hope, right?
Yeah.
I mean, ultimate hope is Super Bowl, but let's just
Baby
hope
steps.
that the Vikings, let's get to 10 wins again. Let's get back to 10. Maybe 11, something. Just give us something, Kirk. Give us something. But it's not all his fault. We know. But, gentlemen, it's good to be back with you guys. I think, Dryce, this is the first time we've had you on this offseason with all these moves that the Vikings have made. So
I think it might be, yeah.
We got to get your thoughts on Za'Darius Smith and all the other moves that the Vikings have made before we go ahead and dig into some draft stuff here. So, Dryce, let's give you the floor, man. What do you think about this offseason so far? What's your grade for the offseason so far?
I would say going in, I kind of wanted to see more of a kind of like embrace the rebuild approach. And then I kind of got some clarity from Quessy, who I'm a gigantic stan of, when he said we're kind of trying to prepare now and in the future, just because that line gets blurred often and teams just are satisfied with 8 wins and kind of just get lost in mediocrity. But I think I trust a lot of the moves Quessy's made, and I think he would be the first to tell you that they weren't expected to blow anybody's socks off this free agency. I think draft is maybe where they'd like to get a lot more of their pieces or foundational pieces. But, I mean, the Kirk extension, I wasn't in love with it, but he's also a good quarterback. And he'll win us games. And as long as it's a deal where they always got one eye at, somebody else, whether that's CJ Stroud or, one of those guys, while still winning games and building the brand of the Vikings and selling tickets and doing all that. So I've grown to be more comfortable with that. And I like watching the Vikings be competitive on Sundays, and Kirk does a lot to help that. So that's a good thing. And then Zadarius Smith, I thought, was phenomenal. I think he's going to be nasty, obviously, with Daniil off the edge. And if I was an offensive coordinator, I would be crapping my pants trying to figure out what I'm going to do to defend those guys. I think a lot of the depth pieces, the interior of the O-line were great. Can't even remember the guy's name, but the guy from the Colts seems like he's been an Iron Man, consistent starter, plug and play, which is what we need. And we've sat
Chris
through
Reed.
games of Chris Reed. We've sat through games of Drew Samia, Dakota Dozier. So, I mean, anything goes at this point, and sounds like Chris Reed is not only going to plug the gap, but he's going to be good. So I'm excited about that. I'm also excited to see where he goes. I think Stefanski implemented a lot of the wide zone type schemes, but it seems like coming from McVay that we're going to be going in a lot more of that direction. So I think it's exciting for guys like Ezra Cleveland, O'Neal. I mean, we got so many good athletes on the O-line. We even got Kyle Hinton on a futures deal. And I think a couple of years ago or last year, he was neck and neck with Tristan Wirfs in about every drill that they test at the combine. So I think between him, Bradbury, like, we're bound to get 5 guys that are going to be productive. I think we're going to have a good run game. And I think it's rational to expect our offense to have just about the same production as we had with our 1 year under Stefanski, which I believe was like 4th in points per drive. So I think we got every reason to believe that the offense is going to be firing next year. Hopefully the defense kind of takes steps to be competitive. We lost a lot, but we got Pat P back, we got Zadarius back, Daniil will be healthy. I think we got all the pieces, and we got plenty of talent to be competitive. And I'm also excited to see the new scheme and how that works, and kind of just some fresh air in the building, obviously. But I think we're going to be good. I think we'll be neck and neck with the Packers after they had some key losses, and I think we could win the division. I think we're probably second for betting odds, but that's something I would probably sprinkle a little cash down on and sit on for the year. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned Chris Reed, and I don't think that's a signing we've had to talk about yet. And I mean, there's not a whole lot to say, I guess. But anyways, let's go around the room real quick here. We'll start with you, Chris. We'll start with you. What were your thoughts on the Vikings signing Chris Reed, the guard from Indianapolis?
Oh, I was I think at first when I first heard that, it was like April 1st, so I was like, all right, this is good, this is too good to be true. The Vikings like going out and getting what looks to be like a premium guard, like that would be good for our line, but it seems like we did that. So yeah, I was pumped. Like, of course Indianapolis like helped Jonathan Taylor get that record breaking like season. So that's huge, I feel like, for our run game. So I was ecstatic, to be honest.
Chandler?
Yeah, I really thought that was a good get for the Vikings. One thing that I really like what they're doing is they're signing these guys to really team-friendly deals, and I think that's important for a team that is up there against the cap. They have had to shuffle around some money, to bring back some other guys. That's what excites me the most. Now, if he can step in and be a starter right off the bat, I'll take it, no doubt. I think I would like to see them draft another guard as well to add some more competition. Maybe Wyatt Davis can supply some of that competition as well. But I really think Chris Reed is your starter going into the season. And from what it sounds like, what he did with Indianapolis, like Chris said, he held his own and was serviceable and did pretty fairly well. And he's a local guy. I think coming home will suit him well. It's just, and he wears the horse collar, or what's it called?
Neck roll.
The neck roll. Come on, that's badass. You can't suck wearing that. So that's got to be a good signing. I think it was a solid signing, a cheap signing, a team friendly signing, and someone that could step in and start right away. So.
And I think he will. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that I would put above him, at least currently on the Vikings roster.
Yeah, I don't at all. I mean, unless you really think Wyatt Davis is going to take that next step, but
yeah,
sure, it doesn't sound like it based off of the scouting debacle. I don't know if you guys saw that, where some scouts didn't even have him. I think we might have talked about this last time. Some scouts didn't have a grade, draft grade on him, which blows my mind for a Big Ten offensive lineman of the year. So I don't know how true that is, but I think that's going to be the big question mark going into training camp this next season is can Wyatt Davis take that next step and compete?
Yeah, that is the question indeed. And I know, Dreiss, you had mentioned a little bit already about your thoughts on him. I like it, but I would have liked to seen a bigger upgrade at the position, but I guess I'll live with baby steps like we talked about. Baby steps. Get there maybe someday when we have not $30+ million invested in our quarterback or in other positions, but I was hoping for a bigger upgrade. I am still concerned with center. So I think that's really the part of the offensive line I'm really concerned with yet. And I think they've got a lot of depth. I don't know if it's good depth, but it's a lot of depth. And so that does make it better because I think that's one thing that Spielman never really did do very well at was addressing depth at most of the positions, really. I feel like he always just went with the need. I mean, he did do some best player available as well, but just never seemed like he got enough depth at certain positions, and offensive line was one of them. I felt like in his entire tenure, and part of that might have been Mike Zimmer too, but
yeah, and part of it might even be even training staff. Like, I don't know, like there was a lot of drama or even talk about Odenabo talking about maybe the past trainer wasn't as effective as he could have been, or not those exact words, but something. So I don't know. It seems like over the past couple of years, as we get into the season, we get going along with your point when you're talking about depth, is we just get more injuries and we're just lacking on that side of the ball. And so, yeah, depth is, I think, important. It's something we've been lacking for sure.
yeah, yep.
Well, and I think another thing too.
Sorry,
I think Kwesi is just so. I mean, obviously his Wall Street background and everything else, but he's so down to the numbers and down to algorithms, and that's always changing. But I think just from the theme of seeing a lot of winning teams have success by just kind of throwing a lot of darts in the interior O-line positions and then just kind of hoping, like a late round pick hits or this value type free agent like a Chris Reed hits. I think that's a winning strategy. So I'm good with it. And I think we got just these plethora of guys who could probably play, maybe play, not really sure. And then I think we'll see, the cream rise from the crop. And I think we will have 5 starters. But I do think, I don't know if there'll ever be a point under Kwesi's regime that he'll sign a top dollar guard, because I think he's his strategy is more like allocating this cap to this position and premium positions and that. But who knows? And if we were to draft a rookie and have just an excess of space, I would love like a Brandon Scherf or something, or like a all-star that's going to set the tone for the line. But I mean, even this Chris Reed, really didn't know too much about him before, but I had seen a lot of clips on Twitter and he's just mauling dudes, setting the tone. Like, putting guys on their backs. And I think for as many young guys as we have on our O-line, I think Brian O'Neill has kind of just ascended into being like the leader and the captain, and he's awesome, great, awesome at that role. But I think to have another kind of veteran who's been around to different places, play with Quentin Nelson and all these other guys in Indianapolis, I think that's super valuable to have as well.
Yes. Got a visitor. Dakota, say hello.
I love it.
But anyways, and Chandler, by the way, also got a new dog recently.
Yes, I do. I do have a little Sully, and I have a cat as well. They go round and round in circles all night.
Oh my god, Sully is a good name for a
Zoomies.
dog. That was my brother's dog's name.
Oh,
That's
perfect. Yeah,
That is a good name for a
it
dog.
wasn't my
That's a
first
perfect
choice
name.
for a name, so I'm just going to throw that out there. But it
And I
was
did not
settled
name
in a
Dakota
family.
either, but
Yeah, see, I'm horrible at picking animal pet names, so I'm not going to take any.
just leave it to the lady,
say.
right?
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
I think I haven't had a dog yet, but I decided probably 5 years ago, the day that I buy a dog, I will name him Teddy. So,
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
so shout out Teddy. Miss you.
Shout
I'm
out
gonna
to
call
Teddy.
mine Blair Walsh probably.
Oh, I don't know about that. But
Well,
Yeah,
I love.
just kidding.
Peter will be calling for
Kirk? What about Kirk? Yeah, PETA will be.
Kirk is kind of a good dog name.
you.
Yeah,
They'll be like,
that's
"Oh,
pretty
you're
good.
Or
you're a
Kurt.
Star Trek
Bulldog.
fan."
He got called. I don't know if you guys saw that earlier this offseason. He had a Starbucks cup or some sort of cup from somewhere, and he got KIRT Kurt written on it from whoever was getting it for him. So
Oh, I love it.
either they knew about that nickname or they actually thought he said Kurt. But anyways, well, we have spent quite a bit of time on Chris Reed and other things. So let's go ahead and dive into our mock draft that we've got planned for this episode. And gentlemen, I think we know what the big needs are for this team. So we're going to go ahead and dive right into this. But we're also, I don't know if Chandler and I and Kevin, we did a mock draft. We did the first 12 picks and then we didn't do any more. But that's what we did last time. So how this is going to work is somebody's going to pick for... We're all going to have our picks for other teams as well, and then one of us four will end up picking for the Vikings, depending on how the board falls. So, do you think we can handle it?
I hope so.
I hope so. I think it went pretty well last time, so let's go ahead and do it. And I'm going to go ahead and bequeath the first overall pick of the Jacksonville Jaguars to Chris. I'm going to give it to you, man.
Oh my gosh. Wow, you're going to...
We need a little draft sound.
Yeah, that's right. I need... Do-do-do-do-do.
Oh, man. Well, I'm
the
on the
first
clock. I've got to... With the first pick, give me like 15 seconds.
He's got to look on his phone. He's got to look on his phone for...
I'm doing the same thing. I gotta make sure I got my ducks in a row here. So
See, I didn't realize the whole draft. I was like, all right, I'm going to find
It
some
goes
guys
to
for,
show
like,
how
the
much
Vikings.
preparation we did for this episode.
it was a busy last 2 weeks. I promise I'll be really prepared next time.
That's right. Yes, we will all try to be. But, well, you know what? Let's give Chris a break. And let's go over...
Wait, he doesn't know who he's going to take with the first overall pick?
I mean, I didn't prepare for this. I don't got a list I've got to like look on the internet quick.
How much have you been paying attention to mock drafts, apparently? It's been tough. I understand. It's okay,
Yeah.
Chris. It's okay. It's all right.
All right, I'm sorry.
Let's go ahead and give it to Dryce. Dryce, who you got with the first pick in the 2022 NFL Draft? Do-do-do-do-do. You're muted, by the way.
Oh, sorry. I don't want to overanalyze, but I think we do see a trade back here. I think Jacksonville's got a lot of holes they need to fill, and in the number one pick is worth a lot more than just one edge or like something. So I think they've decided on edge, but they don't know whether it's going to be Trayvon Walker or Aiden Hutchinson. So I think they make the decision easier by trading back and seeing how the board comes to them. And luckily, the class is deep and edge, and there's a lot of first-round talent. So I think that's the direction they go. But we'll stay here, and we'll pick Trayvon Walker from Georgia.
Thank you for my sake on doing this draft.
No, you're good.
So Trayvon Walker, is that actually something? I haven't been paying attention as much to some of the recent ones. Has that become more popular?
From what I've been hearing, just from Twitter rumors, I've been hearing that too, that he's been shooting up draft boards, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Wow, even to the number one pick. That's crazy. Well,
his combine was like freaky.
Gives the Lions the ability to potentially take their son, Aiden Hutchinson, the Michigan Sun. But are they in love with Malik Willis? That's the real question. I mean, I would take Malik Willis, and I would be very sad because we're obviously Vikings fans, and we don't want to see Malik Willis 2 times a year. But I'm going to take the Lions pick, and with that second pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, I am going to make all NFC North fans sad by taking Malik Willis, quarterback, Liberty. So, the Lions have their quarterback for the next 10 to 15, maybe more years. More than likely. I'll knock on... Well, maybe I shouldn't knock on wood. But I do want to see Malik Willis succeed because I think he's got a lot of talent and he seems like a good dude. But, so I'll go with the Lions pick at Malik Willis, which gives us the Texans pick. And, Chris, do you feel like you're able to make this pick?
I feel like I can make this pick. I can make a pick.
It's all right. You're good. Go ahead. The 2022 NFL Draft, the third pick in the NFL Draft, goes to the Houston Texans. And with that pick, they select...
I would never thought I would be in this position to make this call for the Texans, but I'm going to go with the end from Michigan, Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, they've got to be ecstatic. They would have to be ecstatic if Aiden Hutchinson dropped out of those first 2 picks, you would think. So
yeah.
Yep, that's a good pick. Good pick. All right, and then it's time for Benny and the Jets. I mean, New York Jets. For Chandler. Chandler, who do you think the Jets are going to go with here? The number 4 pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. We've got a lot of offensive linemen still up on the board.
Yeah, I want to say they're going to end up going offense. Now, is it going to be offensive line, or are they going to give the franchise quarterback some help, or are they going to go with a wide receiver and give him some more help that way? I think they're going to go offensive line, and I think they will take I can't think of his first name, the Neal kid out of Alabama. I think they'll go with him because they already got the bigger, heavier guy on the right side, and I think they'll solidify the other side with Neal from Alabama.
Okay. Very good. Evan Neal goes to the Jets with the number
I'll give a little
4 pick.
I do think New York, it's Joe Douglas is the GM. He's coming from Philly, and they had Jason Peters and Lane Johnson as just bookend guys for like close to a decade almost. So I do think that's something that he wants to build around. They always had a loaded O-line. I think that's something he values. So I think they're going to build from the trenches. I would say they go with Evan Neal too. And I think you'd be dumb not to pick him there.
Yeah. All right. Well, now that we have heard from our resident expert, Dryce,
I don't know about that.
on his thought, we will go ahead and bring him back in for this next pick. Dries, the 5th overall pick, the first of 2 picks in 3 picks for the New York Football Giants, with still one of the best offensive tackles available, still Kayvon Thibodeau available, Sauce Gardner available. Who the Giants going with here?
I think we saw a lot of resources put into the receiver position from the Giants. Obviously, hasn't worked out the best in the past year, but I think they're going to kind of sit on those assets. New staff, front office, see what they can do with those pieces. I do think they're going to try to maybe address the O-line, whether or not that's for Daniel Jones or for the next guy. I think they're going to try to get a foundational piece on their O-line. They got Andrew Thomas on the left side. I think they're going to go Ikem Ekwonu. I don't even know if I pronounced that right. I really hope I did.
Ikem Ekwonu? I think that's how you say
Ikem
it.
Ekwonu. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Very good. Well, let's go ahead and go to the Carolina Panthers. And I am going to go ahead and say, maybe if I was the Panthers, I'd consider trading back. I would consider it. I'm not going to because, I don't want to do that. But, I could actually do it pretty easily probably. But instead of doing that, I am going to go ahead and we've got so many needs here for the Panthers. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the offensive tackle. Might be a little bit of a reach. Charles Cross. Going to take him from Mississippi State. And we know the Panthers need help offensive line-wise, so not a bad pick there. And we go with Charles Cross. Also, wouldn't have minded seeing them take Kayvon Thibodeau. But now I potentially have given Mr. Dupick a chance for the Giants to get help on both the offensive and defensive lines. So, Chris, now that you have seen the top 6 go off the board, including one of your own as the Giants GM, now where are you going? You are muted, sir.
My bad.
There you go.
As the Giants GM, I'm gonna look at my secondary and I'm like, it's been pretty meh. I looked up, their secondary has been like 15th or 16th in the league, and I think when you got all the cornerbacks on the board at this point, I think they're gonna go toward. I think I'm gonna break some Minnesota Vikings fans' hearts when I say this, but I think they're gonna grab Stingley from LSU at cornerback. Like, you can't. He's just got that talent, and I don't know. The Giants. I just see him pulling something like that, or not the Giants. Whoever I'm picking for
the Giants.
right now.
You're right.
Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the Giants.
Yep. So, yeah. Wow. Derek Stingley. And it's amazing because Derek Stingley, probably about a month ago, before his pro day, was maybe not even going to be a top 15 pick. But now that he's been pretty much given a clean bill of health, and he had a pretty impressive 40 time, right? And did some other pretty good things in his pro day. He's been shooting up some draft boards. That's one I have heard about, shooting up draft boards. So do you think, Dries, from your point of view, do you think that is something you would expect to see him jump even Sauce Gardner for that number 1 corner?
I think so. I would say the pro day did kind of solidify a lot of things, but I think ever since he did what he did as a true freshman, I think it'd be fair to say he's always going to be a top 10 pick. If he gets to 12, I'll be jumping at the edge of my couch just like I was when Justin Jefferson, another LSU boy, was available. So I'm hoping for it. but I'm also expecting kind of a trade back for the Vikings. So I think Stingley's done things that not a lot of people have ever done, and his last 2 seasons have been obviously not optimal, but I think people are going to bet on those trades a lot of times, especially when it's kind of a physical, nasty press man type corner.
Okay. Very good. Well, let's go ahead and bring in Chandler. Chandler, you get a pick for the Atlanta Falcons at the 8th pick. All right, just a quick recap before I let you pick here, Chandler. Give you a minute to think, maybe, too. The first pick was Trayvon Walker to the Jags, Malik Willis to the Lions, Aiden Hutchinson to the Texans, Evan Neal to the Jets, Ikem Ekwonu to the Giants, Charles Cross to the Panthers, Derek Stingley Jr. to the Giants, and with the 2022 NFL Draft 8th selection, the Atlanta Football Falcons select.
There's a couple different ways you can go here with the Falcons. I think I did this our first mock draft. I had them taking Garrett Wilson, Ohio State wide receiver, but do they really trust Marcus Mariota that much going into this season? I see Desmond Ritter's been going up a lot of draft boards. Do we possibly see him go here? Maybe Matt Corral?
Kenny Pickett?
Kenny Pickett. But I think it's going to be too good to pass up. They need some talent in a bunch of different areas. And why not take arguably what people are saying might be the best player in the draft? If he's run slow, who cares? I think he's got a lot of talent. They'll go with Kyle Hamilton, safety.
Oh, Kyle Hamilton.
I think
All
they
right.
go best player available in that situation.
All right, and you'd put him above Kayvon Thibodeau and above Sauce Gardner as BPA, or at least from the Falcons' perspective.
I think so. I feel like I'm not going to act like I know too much about what he can do. He's a big safety. He is long. He looks like a linebacker from everything I've seen and from the Notre Dame games I watched this last year. I just feel like he's too good of a player, and you can plug and play him in multiple different positions. And I feel also the NFL is starting to look for those hybrid type players where you can start plugging them in different positions, move them all around the field. What defense wouldn't want that is what I'm thinking.
All right. Very good. Well, now to the Seattle Seahawks. And let's go back to Dreiss. Right? I'm getting lost. I think it's Dreiss.
I think it's me.
Yep, it's you. All right, Dreiss.
I got a quick.
With the 9th. Oh,
has
go ahead.
Kayvon Thibodeau been picked yet?
He has not. Are you running to the podium right now for Kayvon Thibodeau?
I don't think I'm running, but I feel like that defense has been shored up for a while. I think he's a big, fast guy who can move around and kind of play a lot of different things, and he's tough. And he's pretty much been the defensive end version of Stingley, where people watched him play at 19 years old, I believe, and he was wrecking people. And ever since that moment, they said, this guy is going to be like a top 10, top 5 perennial pick. So I think it's one of those where not necessarily too much of a need, but I think you got to pick him just because he wasn't supposed to fall out of the top 10. So,
all right, very good. So Kayvon Thibodeau off the board to the Seattle Seahawks. The Russell Wilson-less Seattle Seahawks for the first time in a long time. That is just going to be such a different look of a team this year. My goodness.
Yeah.
But
and I guess picking
Thibodeau,
I anticipate they'll probably make a trade. I think Baker would make a lot of sense there. I don't know how many other places he makes sense for, so I think make a trade for Baker, get a low-cost investment for a year that potentially could be your guy, but if he's not, didn't cost you a whole lot. And, obviously the Browns lost a lot of leverage by moving on the Deshaun trade pretty fast. So
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. All right. Well, that means we head back to the man himself, Chris Dupick, for the pick for his dad's team, the Jets.
Yes.
The Jets Jets with the 10th pick. Who you got?
Hey, Dad, if you're watching, I hope I do you right with this pick for your team. I hope, this can at least get them one win. Let's start baby steps as like the theme of the show. You know what I'm saying? So, no, but Zach Wilson, he's got talent. So not to shade the Jets too much. Like they've got some promise, but I'll stop stalling. Did the Jets already have a pick already, or am I crazy? Who's their guy? Who do we have him getting?
it was Evan Neal. Was
Yeah,
it?
I
Evan
believe
Neal.
I took
Yep.
Evan Neal. Them.
Yep. Evan Neal
Got
was the
you.
first Jets pick. Are you going to keep
All
on
right,
the
well,
offensive side, or are you going to go defense?
I'm gonna go. That's a good question. I'm gonna go defense, but I'm gonna stick with Jordan Davis. I think they're gonna go for Jordan from Georgia. I've seen him drop to like 20s. But I think when we first got in the offseason, I don't know, he kind of just really stuck out to me as a run stopper and like a guy that can get into the backfield. So I don't know. I think that's a huge talent still on the board that the Jets could get to fill a need they have at D tackle.
Yeah. That's not too bad of a pick. Maybe a little bit of a reach. I know
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
people have been not high on Jordan Davis's 3-down ability. I know Kevin Brown had mentioned that the last time he was on with us. Do you guys feel like Jordan Davis has that ability to play 3 downs in the league? You're shaking your head no.
I
Now
do,
you're shaking
yeah.
your head yes.
No,
There,
I
Trice?
do. I was kind of mocking off of what more I anticipate as opposed to what I would do, but whether or not it'd be smart to take a D tackle number one, and obviously you probably look to trade back over anything, but I would take him number one and not think about it at all. I don't think we've seen a lot of guys like Jordan Davis. Like,
No.
I think when Sue was at Nebraska, I think that kind of like paints a picture of what kind of like Jordan Davis is. Like, it's not a hard like projection, I don't think, just because he's just like an absolute unicorn. And I think it'll come with rushing the passer as well. I think if you got a good D line coach giving him pass rush tools, I think that's one of the scariest things in history because he's probably going to be the biggest human being in the league, and he's also faster than most tight ends too. And it's 3-cone and everything else. But I just think as a defense, one of your main goals is to disrupt the quarterback. And when Jordan Davis is a yard from the quarterback at the snap, if he's under center, that's real scary. Because if I'm playing quarterback and I'm looking over and I see 99 from Georgia, I am literally going to change my pants on the sideline. So I like the Jordan Davis. Short story long, I like the Jordan Davis pick. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Jordan Davis picked by the New York Football Jets, the Jets Jets. Well, I think I am going to break a few hearts here as well because Sauce Gardner is still on the board for the Washington Commanders. And I think they could go receiver here, but I think they also need a lot of help in the secondary. And I am going to go ahead and select Sauce Gardner with the 11th overall pick, which means there are now a few players here available. All the wide receivers are still there for the Vikings if they want to take a wide receiver, which I've been hearing that's an increasing possibility. Jermaine Johnson, the edge rusher from Florida State, still there. And Oh, everybody's favorite quarterback, Kenny Pickett's still there as well. So, sorry, I got to stop trashing this guy. He's probably going to tear it up now. But let's go ahead and bring in the new GM for the Minnesota Vikings, Chandler Holland, taking Quasi's place already. My goodness. They didn't give him very long, but all right. Chandler, are the Vikings taking with the 12th pick?
Well, first of all, I'd take my headphones out. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes, we sure can.
Perfect. I'd like to say if I did take Quasi's job, I'd probably give him a run for his money on shortest stint as Vikings GM. So, if we are, I think the Vikings set themselves up in the offseason by being able to take the best player available. And if this is somehow the board fell, which I doubt happens, that a wide receiver doesn't go off in the top 10. If this is the case, Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, Ohio State, I think would be the pick.
Ooh, man, oh man.
Adam Thielen's getting up there. I feel like why not go get one of those young wideouts and give Kirk some more weapons? So there
that
really
wide
isn't,
receiver
there
room.
won't be any excuses.
That wide receiver room has to be the best in the league at that point. Like, right? I mean, like from a depth perspective.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
I mean, you got those guys as your top three, and then you still have, your guy, Amir Smith-Marset from Iowa, who came on the last few games, as well as, I can't even think of his name right now. Miami.
KJ
Osborne.
KJ
Yeah.
Osborne.
Yeah. And then we didn't even mention the top two guys. So, I mean, and then you add Garrett Wilson to that. Wow. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Smith, throw him in there.
Yeah. A healthy Irv Smith.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook, maybe he'll be even more involved in the passing game this year, which could be interesting as well. So, I'm excited to see if Dalvin actually lines up at a wide receiver spot. Like, give him a shot against a linebacker or something. Or maybe something else. But, it's not a bad pick considering how the board fell. I think some people would have taken Jermaine Johnson, the edge rusher from Florida State. And I think, if I remember right, didn't Kevin Brown take him last time?
I believe so. I can't quite remember.
Yeah, I think so too.
And he, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he is a local Minneapolis kid as well.
Well then,
originally from Minnesota, so there's a connection. He's one of us. He gets it.
Yeah, that's right. He's one of us. That's right. Well, there it is. The draft has completed. Yeah. And so, what do you guys think? Vikings get another wide receiver? Don't think they'll ever draft another receiver. At least this draft, anyway.
I think Kevin O'Connell watching kind of sort of the guy who preceded him in his role in LA with Zach Taylor go to Cincinnati and kind of transform this offense with three like high-end draft capital receivers. Like you could kind of compare Boyd to Thielen as that kind of aging slot guy who's kind of been there. And then they obviously have Higgins and Chase. But, I mean, we saw Burrow in his rookie year not look the best, but he still is a rookie. And then we see him take this jump because he's got these guys to throw the ball to. He's all of a sudden playing Patrick Mahomes, just matching what he's doing because he's got these guys putting up 500 yards, doing this and that. Leads him to the Super Bowl. And I think, that could easily be an option for Kevin O'Connell too. I mean, if they're going to commit to Kirk, then put some freaking superstars around him. He's the point guard. Get some Showtime Lakers going. Get everybody going. Irv Smith's back. I don't know. I'm excited, and I think this draft does set up beautifully for us because outside of corner and maybe safety, I don't think we have too many necessarily like glaring needs, just kind of a lot of like replace level positions where we could So I think it's beautiful when the board can fall to us and we can afford to trade back and make those smart moves to get more picks and then just kind of let the board fall to you. But I would love Garrett Wilson. That'd be awesome.
Would you pick him over Chris Olave?
No. But I think he will get picked over Chris Olave. So if I was in that position, I probably would have traded back, got an extra third-round pick.
I would have gone Olave if I would have picked a receiver. But
Would you?
But I mean, I think they both will be really good.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think you can really go wrong. So,
but if
Olave,
I see more bust potential, I'd say it's in Garrett Wilson, though.
Well, Olave's going to look good in that Packer green and gold.
Ah!
Oh no!
Puke.
That's nightmare fuel.
But you know that's gonna happen though, and I'm gonna hate every second of it. Gonna hate every second of it. But all right, well, gentlemen, the plan is to do another one of these next week, and we'll also look at a mock draft maybe as well, and maybe we'll play a new game. Might come up with a new game I've been thinking about. So should be a lot of fun. We'll see who all is able to join us next week, but we're planning to do an episode every week prior to the draft, and who knows, maybe we'll do something on draft night. We'll have to be talking about that and keep y'all up to date as it gets closer. Yeah, it's this month, isn't it? Wow. It's like 2 weeks away.
2 weeks, yeah.
Wow, maybe we should really talk about that. My goodness, that just snuck up on me like a month ago. I was like, oh, we've got over a month, and now it's like, oh, wow, here it is. So
we're not
all
used
right.
to.
I
We're
know.
not
Soon
used to
it'll be like
playoff
August. It'll be
basketball
like
to
training
watch.
camp.
What's that? You guys both spoke at the same time.
I'm sorry.
No,
ahead, Bryce.
I'm down for. I love playoff basketball, dude. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
I said we're not used to having playoff basketball, so we kind of lost track of time, and
Yeah,
then all of a sudden we
right.
got the draft here in a couple weeks.
And the Twins baseball season getting back, which I enjoy more than basketball, but I do enjoy some basketball.
We are not Vikings 24/7. That is the bright side, right?
That is true.
We cheer for everyone.
I think I would have stopped being a fan a long time ago if I was 24/7.
Yeah.
It's nauseating, that's for sure.
That's right. That's right. Well, gentlemen, it's been fun, and we'll catch you guys next time. And as always, Skol.